Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna talk about one of the biography of one individual that changed the perspective inside my life. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Firdaus Anwar. I'm from the Mathematics Education course of University State of Surabaya. And what I'm gonna talk about today is how Mr. Habibie biography changed my perspective inside my life. Okay, so the first thing that I always see when I read Mr. Habibie's biography is how effective Mr. Habibie is in using all of his time. Like, he value time so much that he doesn't even want to waste it. Every time that he is spending, it is really a beneficial thing that always come to him. Even in the hospital, this is one from one of his experience. Even in the hospital in the Germany, even in a sick condition, he still read about the sickness that he is experiencing now, and in that condition he even can explain what kind of sickness that happened to him. Word can describe how much joy that Mr. Habibie can find when he read a book. In his childhood, he doesn't like other children. What I mean is, dia tidak seperti anak-anak yang lain. He doesn't like the other children. When other children are playing outside their house, Mr. Habibie is only inside his room, and in front of the room door he sat there, and then he opened a book and then read it. And fantastically, or I can say it is very awesome, because Mr. Habibie can read it in so many hours without even getting tired. From that, I realized that time is not something that we always get. What I mean is, when we have time, sometimes we don't use it in a right way. What I mean by right way is, when we get a lot of time to study, sometimes we only use a half of it. Yeah, I know studying in a half of time is not a bad thing, but if we can use it in a full and efficient way, why not? And else, when we get the time to rest, we never use it to rest, but instead we force ourselves to do something else, even though we know that our body is already tired. From Mr. Habibie, I realized that use your time with how the thing you are doing at that time. Yeah. What I mean is, use it in an efficient way as you see fit with you. Don't try to compare yourself to other, because we never know the needs of other. We only know the need of ourselves. We know when we must do this, when we must study, when we must sleep, and when we must rest, and let us relax. The thing that knows that is only us. That's why, if the time comes, use it as much as we can. Use it as best as we can too. Because what? And that thing, I realized that time can be repeated or can be rewind. Once it lost, then it will last forever. It will never come back to you. The second thing that I realized from that is, chance and time doesn't come twice. If it come to you right now, do it as best as you can. Even if you know that you will get even if you know that you will get not a good result, but at least do it as best as you can. There is no shame in doing that, as long as we know that, oh, I have enough ability to do this, so I will try it. Because what? Remember that those two things doesn't come twice. If you never feel so satisfied about that, then you will never realize. If you only feel satisfied that, it's already passed away, that it doesn't have anything to do with me, no, then you will never realize how important is time and chance. Because of what? Once it lost, like what I said before, it will never come back to you anymore. It's the same like when you lose someone, they will never come back to you. And the rest of the time that they spend with you, it's all precious. And it will live inside your memory for all eternity and for your entire life. And the next thing that I learned from Mr. Habib's biography is how we must keep moving forward even if one of our precious or dearest person to us pass away. I can really remember how is the feeling of Mr. Habib's mother when she know that her husband already passed away. At that time, one of the dialogue that Mr. Habib's mother said is like, "It feels like I'm waking up from a nightmare. My children are crying, and I realize that it's too late, and I scream my husband's name over and over. Oh Allah, can you give me a solution of how can I live like this?" After that, in the next passage, it shows that Mr. Habib's mother remembered the principles inside her family, and that is, we must give our children, all of them, a great education to make them a great person in the future. Since that time, all the effort that Mr. Habib's mother do is for the sake of a better education and a great education of all of her children. We can really see that dedication when Mr. Habibis go abroad to do a study in the foreign country, exactly in Germany, where his mother even sell a field, all of his cosmetic, gold, to ensure that Mr. Habibi can go study abroad in the foreign country, and it is in Germany. From that I realized, even if our dearest person isn't here with us, or even if he isn't watching us directly in front of us, I realized that all we can do is honor them and keep moving forward by making them proud. Even if they aren't here anymore, they still looking at us in a better place, above, in a better place somewhere. I realized that when my father said that his last wish is he want to make me a great teacher, and a few days after that I remember. So that is the meaning of the biography inside Mr. Habib's biography. The feeling, it is painful, yes, it is really painful. But I realize, to make my father proud, I must be inside the sorrow anymore. I must keep moving forward. I know my father will always watch me everywhere, every time, and anywhere, and anytime I go, or where am I. He will always be there for me. He will always looking at me. He will always watch me, everything that I do, everything that I achieve. I will always try to make him proud, even if I know that he isn't here anymore. Now, the last thing that I can learn from Mr. Habib's biography is how his dedication for the sake of Indonesia is really a great thing to do or to mimic. he can do anything for the sake of his country. I realize I'm not as smart as Mr. Habibie, and all I can do is to do more hard work and give a lot of effort. That's why I realize by taking a mathematics education course, at least if I'm not as smart as Mr. Habibie, I can be a teacher that can support someone or student in the future that has the potential to be like Mr. Habibie, and I will gladly do that for the sake of my country. I realize that brain, moral, and life, that is all a precious thing that we must always treasure. Even if it is in the future of technology, we will always treasure that. We must always remember that inside of our lives, we live inside our principles. If we dare to do something, then we must take a responsibility for that. That's why what I realized from Mr. Habibie is take your time, do something better, do something efficient, always look forward and think about something in the future, realize the thing inside yourself, and never let the sorrow of losing someone hold you back to not keep moving forward. That's why in the end, I always think that even if I'm not as smart as Mr. Habibie, I will gladly be a teacher that can support other students or other people who have maybe the potential to become like Mr. Habibie, so that they can give a great present for the country. I know I can be like him. Maybe I can go abroad, or I cannot do any study in a foreign country, but as a teacher, as my father's last wish, I'll gladly teach anyone, and I will gladly lay myself for the sake of the country in the form of teaching someone, so that they can always make the country proud. And the last thing is I want to make my parents proud. For my passed away father, for my mother who is still here, I want them to be proud of me. I want them to be proud of me. I want them to always remember anything about me, and I want them to be happy. At least that is the thing that I can say about this. And I realize that Mr. Habibie's biography is truly something. Even in his near-death experience, and even in his sickness, and even in all of his part of life, he always think ahead. He always think about the future. He never think about something that is very useless, and he always think that what can I give to my country? What can I do to make my mothers proud? What can I do to make all the poverty inside my country is gone? That is why we must look forward and never let the sorrow hold us back. Thank you for your attention. That is all the thing that I can say or tell to you all. I'm glad that I can share this all with you, because this is the biography that really changed my perspective of life by giving me the power to keep forward, to always remind me of my passed away father, and it really tell me to make them proud, to make him proud, and also make my mother proud, so that they will always be happy wherever I go. They know that their son already do their best for them. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.